When I walked into the family reunion, my cousin announced loudly that I was the black sheep, who had no future. Everyone burst into laughter while I stayed quiet. But when I revealed what I had secretly built over the years, no one could do writing this at 3 a.m. in a hotel room that smells like disinfectant and broken dreams. My hands won't stop shaking. I need to tell someone I did before it eats me alive from the inside. It started with a text message. Hey stranger, miss talking to Sarah from college. Sarah with the laugh that used to make me forget my own name. Sarah who I hadn't spoken to in 5 years, not since I got serious with Emma. Emma. God Emma. My beautiful, trusting Emma who was home that night making dinner for us both, humming while she cooked because she was happy. Actually happy with our together. I should have deleted the text. Should have blocked the number. Should have done literally anything except what I did. Instead I typed back, miss too. 3 words. That's all it took to detonate my entire world. The justifications came so easily. Emma and I had been fighting more lately. Nothing serious, just the usual stress from work, from planning our wedding next spring. She'd been distant, tired all the time. We hadn't been intimate in weeks. I felt unappreciated, taken for granted. All lies I told to make what came next feel acceptable. Sarah wanted to meet for coffee. Just to catch up, she said. I knew the harm. Deep down I knew exactly what I was walking toward. But I went anyway, telling Emma I had to work late. The lie rolled off my tongue like I'd been practicing it my whole. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into drinks. Drinks turned into Sarah's apartment. I won't describe what happened next because honestly, the physical part wasn't even the worst betrayal. The worst part was how good it felt to be wanted again. To feel exciting and dangerous instead of comfortable and predictable. Sarah looked at me like I was someone worth risking everything for. Emma looked at me like I was home. I should have chosen home. But I didn't. I chose the thrill. I chose the validation. I chose my own selfish desires over the woman who'd spent 3 years building a future with me, brick by careful brick. The affair lasted 2 months. 2 months of elaborate lies, deleted messages and secret meetings. 2 months of coming home to Emma's bright smile and feeling like absolute garbage. 2 months of watching her show me wedding venues while I destroyed our relationship from the inside out. She found out the way these things always come to light. Sarah got one night and posted a photo of us on social media before quickly deleting it. But Emma's best friend saw it first. I came home to find Emma sitting at our kitchen table, laptop open, staring at a screenshot of me and Sarah kissing outside a restaurant. The engagement ring I'd saved for 8 months to buy was sitting next to the computer. How long? She asked. Her voice was so quiet I almost couldn't hear her. I tried to lie. Even then, caught handed with photo evidence, I tried to minimize it. Didn't mean anything, I said. It was a mistake. Emma laughed. Actually laughed. It was the most heartbreaking sound I'd ever heard. A mistake is forgetting to pick milk, she said. This is a choice. 2 months of choices. She knew everything. Sarah had told her friend the whole story during her confession. Every lie I'd told, every excuse I'd made to see Sarah, every time I'd Emma goodbye before meeting another woman. I trusted completely, Emma whispered, and that's when she finally cried. I defended to my friends when they said seemed distant. I made excuses for it. I thought we were going through a rough patch that we'd work through together. I wanted to comfort her, but what to say? How to apologize for choosing to systematically destroy someone's faith in love itself? I was gonna surprise next week. She continued, wiping her eyes. I'm pregnant, Mike. 10 weeks. I was waiting until after my next appointment to tell. The room tilted. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach with brass knuckles. I kept thinking about how happy we'd be, she said. How we'd call our parents together and start planning the nursery. I was so excited to tell the father of my baby that we were going to be a family. I reached for her, but she stepped back like I was. Don't get to touch me anymore. Don't get to comfort me after the one who broke me. She was right. I had broken her. This incredible woman who used to light when I walked into a room now looked at me like I was a stranger. Worse than a stranger, like I was someone dangerous. Emma, please. We can work through this. I'll do anything. Anything except not cheat on me for 2 months while I planned our wedding and carried child. The next morning she was gone. Moved in with her sister. Left the ring on the counter next to a note that just said, I can't look at right now. Don't contact me. That was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks of Emma not answering my calls, not responding to my texts, not giving me a chance to grovel properly. 3 weeks of sleeping alone in our bed that still smells like her perfume. 3 weeks of eating cereal for dinner, because I can't stand to cook in the kitchen where she told me she was carrying my baby. 3 weeks of everyone in my looking at me differently. My mom cried when I told her. Actually cried for the daughter-in-law she was never going to have, for the grandchild she might not get to see grow. I raised better than this, she said, and I've never felt smaller in my friends have divided into camps. Half of them are disgusted with me. The other half are trying to be supportive, but I can see the judgment in their eyes. I'm the cautionary tale now. The guy who had everything and it away for nothing. Because that's what hurts the most. It really was nothing. Sarah and I have barely spoken since Emma found out. Turns out she just wanted the excitement of stealing someone else's man. Once the thrill was gone, so was she. I destroyed my Emma's and my unborn child's for a woman who doesn't even return my text now. Emma's best friend works in my building and the story has spread. People whisper when I walk by. The woman at the coffee cart who used to ask about my beautiful fiancé now just takes my order in silence. I can't sleep, can't eat. Can't focus on anything except the image of Emma's face when she realized that the man she loved, the man she was going to marry, the father of her baby, had been lying to her for months. I keep thinking about all the small moments I destroyed. The way she used to steal my hoodies. How she'd text me pictures of dogs she saw on the street. The Sunday mornings we'd spend in bed planning our future together. I had a woman who loved me completely, and I convinced I deserved more. I didn't deserve more. I didn't even deserve her. And now I'm alone in this hotel room because I can't stand being in our apartment anymore. Writing this confession to strangers on the internet, because I've lost the right to talk to the person I most. Tomorrow I have to figure out how to be a father to a child whose mother can't stand the sight of me. How to co-parent with someone I betrayed in the cruelest possible way. I thought I was choosing excitement. I thought I was choosing passion. But what I really chose was to become the kind of man who destroys everything he touches, and there's no coming back from that. It's been 2 months since Emma left. 2 months since I learned I was going to be a father to a child, whose mother won't speak to me. I'm writing this update from my new studio apartment that costs twice as much and has half the space, because it was the only place I could find that would take someone with my credit score after splitting all our shared accounts. The pregnancy is progressing. I know this not because Emma tells me, but because her sister posts ultrasound photos on social media. Photos I screenshot and stare at for hours, trying to see my features in a tiny black and white blob that's gonna grow thinking their father is a monster. Emma's lawyer contacted me last week. She wants to discuss custody arrangements and child support obligations. Even the legal language feels like a, not our baby, or son or daughter, just obligations. I never thought I'd need a lawyer to talk to the mother of my child. The meetings are, Emma sits across from me in the conference room looking like she's aged 5 years and 2 months. She won't make eye contact, won't speak directly to me. Everything goes through the lawyers like I'm some kind of dangerous criminal, instead of the man who used to massage her feet when she came home from long days. My client would prefer minimal contact during the pregnancy. Her lawyer says. She'll inform of major medical appointments but doesn't want present unless there's an emergency. I want to scream that I should be at every appointment. That I should be holding her hand during the scary parts and crying with her when we find out the gender. That we should be arguing about baby names and painting the nursery together. Instead I nod and let my lawyer take notes about visitation schedules for a child who isn't even born yet. Work has become impossible. I mentioned my boss Janet, in passing last time. She called me into her office 3 weeks ago with HR present. Apparently Emma's friend wasn't the only one talking. Multiple people complained about my character issues, affecting team morale. We're not saying did anything illegal, Mike, Janet said, looking anywhere but at me. But trust is a big part of this job and frankly, people are questioning judgment. They didn't fire me, they did something worse. They moved me to a different department, away from the team I'd built relationships with over 4 years. Now I sit in a corner cubicle doing data entry while the projects I used to lead go to other people. Every day I watch my former colleagues grab lunch together, knowing they're probably talking about what a scumbag I turned out to be. The woman I used to carpool with now parks on the other side of the building to avoid running into me. My family gatherings are equally awful. My sister hosted Sunday dinner last week, the first one I'd been invited to since Emma left. The conversation stopped dead when I walked in. My 8-year-old nephew used to run to hug me, hid behind his mom. "Where's Aunt Emma?" he asked loudly. Mom said she's not coming to Sunday dinners anymore because Uncle Mike was bad to her. Kids don't understand euphemisms. They just know that the nice lady who used to bring them cookies and play video games doesn't come around anymore, and somehow it's my fault. My dad pulled me aside after dinner. We'd barely spoken since I told my parents what happened. But I thought maybe he was ready to offer support. "Grandfather cheated on grandmother once," he said quietly. She never forgave him. They stayed married for appearances but she never looked at him the same way again. He died knowing he'd killed the love of his faith in him. He paused, studying my face. At least he only did it once. Chose to lie to Emma's face every day for 2 months. I honestly don't know how live with died. Neither do I, Dad. Neither do I. The worst part is the dreams. Every night I dream about Emma. Sometimes we're back in our apartment and everything is normal. She's laughing at something I said, or we're curled watching movies, or she's showing me pregnancy apps on her phone with excitement instead of dread. I wake every morning to the crushing realization that those dreams are never going to be reality again. I've started seeing a therapist. Dr. Martinez is kind but doesn't let me off easy. "Keep talking about what lost," she said during our last session. "What about what Emma lost?" "I know what I did to her was horrible." "No, I don't think do know." "Tell me what Emma lost." The question broke something open in me. Emma lost her faith and love. She lost her excitement about becoming a mother because now it's tied to trauma instead of joy. She lost her sense of safety in her own home, her ability to trust her instincts about people. She lost the father she wanted for her child and got stuck with me instead. She lost her best friend, because that's what I was supposed to be. The person she could tell anything to, who would never her on purpose. She lost her wedding. The dress she'd already bought is in her sister's closet now, tag still on. The venue we'd booked sent a cancellation confirmation last week. Her friends had already planned her bachelorette party. She lost the future we'd mapped out together. The house we were saving for, the trips we'd planned to take before the baby came, that we'd built in our heads during 3 years of loving each other. I stole all of that from her for 2 months with someone who didn't even matter. The therapy helps, but it also makes everything worse because I understand more clearly what a selfish monster I became. Dr. Martinez won't let me wallow in self-pity. She keeps pushing me to understand that my guilt and shame, while appropriate, don't undo anything. Emma doesn't need remorse, she said. She needs to become a better person so can be a decent father. Feelings about what did are irrelevant now. She's right. This isn't about me anymore. It can't be. But becoming a better person feels impossible when everyone who used to believe in me has written me off. My best friend Ryan used to call every few days. Now he texts maybe once a week with polite check-ins that feel obligatory. I ran into Emma's mom at the grocery store yesterday. This woman who used to hug me when I came over for dinner, who called me son, and bragged to her friends about how happy I made her daughter. She saw me from across the produce section and her face just closed off, turned around and walked the other way like I was contagious. I understand why. I'm the man who her little girl during what should be the happiest time of her. I'm the reason Emma cries herself to sleep instead of glowing with pregnancy joy. I'm the reason their family is broken before it even fully formed. The baby is due in 6 months. 6 months to figure out how to be a father when I couldn't even be a decent boyfriend. 6 months to somehow prove I deserve even partial custody of a child whose mother rightfully thinks I'm capable of any betrayal. Emma's sister posts updates sometimes. The baby is healthy. Emma is struggling with morning sickness but otherwise doing well. She's staying busy with work and wedding planning for her sister's upcoming marriage. She's trying to focus on positive things. I want to comment on every post, to somehow be part of it, but I know my presence would just contaminate her happiness. I'm not part of her support system anymore. I'm the problem her support system is helping her cope with. There are moments when I forget though. When I see baby stuff in stores and instinctively think about showing Emma. When I see a funny meme and reach for my phone to text her before remembering she blocked my number months ago. The muscle memory of loving her is going to take years to fade. I've been going to the gym more, trying to exhaust enough to sleep without dreaming. Last week, I overheard two guys talking about relationships while they lifted weights. Never stick in crazy, one said. Nah man, crazy's not the problem, his friend replied. The problem is when got good and to appreciate it. That's when lose everything. They weren't talking about me, but they might as well had I had good. I had the best. Emma wasn't perfect but she was perfect for me. She saw the best version of and loved that person consistently, faithfully, completely. And I her away because I thought I deserved more excitement than steady devoted love. I keep thinking about the last normal day we had together. A Tuesday in March. Emma made pancakes before work even though she was running late because she knew I'd had a rough day Monday. She me goodbye and told me she loved me, and I said it back automatically while checking my phone to see if Sarah had texted. If I could go back to that morning, I would delete Sarah's number, hold Emma a little longer, and tell her how grateful I was for pancakes and patience and a love I didn't deserve but somehow had anyway. Instead, I spent that day texting another woman, and came home to Emma excited about a new restaurant she wanted to try for our anniversary. I was already planning to cancel our anniversary dinner to meet Sarah. The guilt is gonna me, not the dramatic, poetic kind of, the slow, grinding kind where wakery day knowing destroyed the best thing in for absolutely nothing. And have to keep living anyway because brought a child into this mess who didn't ask for any of it. Sometimes I wonder if Emma would be better off if I just disappeared, signed over my rights and let her find someone worthy of her and the baby. Someone who wouldn't cheat on her while she planned their wedding. Someone who wouldn't make her doubt everything she thought she knew about love. But that would be another selfish choice, wouldn't it? Running away because facing the consequences is hard. Abandoning my child because being a good father requires me to stay in Emma's orbit while knowing I lost the right to be part of her happiness. No, I have to stay. I have to figure out how to be the father my child deserves even though I was never the partner Emma deserved. I just don't know how to live with being the villain in the story of the person I love most. My daughter was born on a Tuesday at 3:47 a.m. I know this because Emma's sister texted me a photo 4 hours later with the message Lily Rose, Semmelbs 2 O's. Mother and baby are healthy. Lily Rose. We talked about that name once lying in bed on a lazy Sunday morning before I destroyed everything. Emma said if we ever had a daughter, she'd want to name her after her grandmother Rose and her favorite flower. I wasn't there when she was born. Wasn't there to the corridor cry when I heard her first cry or tell Emma how proud I was of her for bringing our baby safely into the world. I was sitting in my studio apartment eating leftover takeout, wondering if my daughter was taking her first breaths while I watched late night TV like a stranger to my own. The photo showed a tiny, perfect face with Emma's nose and what looked like my stubborn chin. She was wrapped in a pink blanket, eyes closed, completely unaware that her father had already failed her before she took her first breath. I stared at that picture until my phone screen went dark, then turned it back on and stared some more. This was my child, my daughter. And she was going to grow knowing her daddy wasn't there when she was born, because he was too busy ruining her mother's to earn that privilege. Emma's lawyer called 3 days later to arrange the first visitation. Hospital visits were supervised, 2 hours maximum, and only when Emma felt to it. I drove to the maternity ward with shaking hands, carrying a teddy bear I'd bought at the gift shop because I didn't know what else to do. Emma looked exhausted but beautiful in her hospital bed, hair pulled back in a messy bun, holding our daughter against her chest. When I walked in, she looked at me with eyes that held no warmth, no recognition of the man who used to be her whole world. 2 hours, she said quietly. Please don't try to make conversation. I nodded and approached slowly, like she was a wild animal who might flee if I moved too fast. When she carefully transferred Lily into my arms, our hands brushed for a split second, and Emma pulled back like I'd burned her. Holding my daughter for the first time should have been the best moment of my. Instead, it was colored by the knowledge that Emma would rather trust our newborn to anyone in the world before me. That she was counting down the minutes until she could take Lily back to safety. She's perfect, I whispered, and Lily opened her eyes for just a moment. Dark blue, like all babies, but something about her expression seemed to look right through me. She is perfect, Emma agreed. And I'm gonna make sure she stays that way. The message was clear. I was a to our daughter's perfection. A source of potential damage to be managed and controlled. Over the next few months, I saw Lily every other weekend for a few hours, always supervised by Emma's sister or mother. Never alone, never trusted. I learned to change diapers under watchful eyes that catalog every mistake. Fed her bottles while Emma's mom hovered nearby, ready to step in if I did anything wrong. She's not sleeping well at night, Emma would tell her sister while I held Lily like I wasn't in the room. The pediatrician says it's normal, but I worry about everything now. I wanted to offer to take night shifts, to help with the feeding schedule, to be a partner in raising our daughter, but I'd lost the right to be Emma's partner in anything. Now I was just a visitor in my own child's. The worst part was watching Emma with Lily. She was an incredible mother, patient and gentle and completely devoted. She sang lullabies in a soft voice that used to sing just for me. She talked to Lily constantly, explaining everything they saw on walks, reading board books with different voices for all the characters. This was the woman I'd cheated on. This loving, nurturing, amazing woman who was pouring all her energy into being the best mother possible while navigating single parenthood because I couldn't keep my promises. My family tried to stay involved, but it was awkward for everyone. My mom would visit Emma and Lily sometimes, but she had to choose between her son and her granddaughter's well-being, and she chose right. She was kind to me but kept her distance, afraid that being too supportive would hurt her relationship with Emma. I love, she told me after one particularly tense family dinner where Lily cried every time I held her, but I can't pretend what did was okay just because we're my son. That baby needs stability, and Emma deserves support, not judgment. Even my own mother was protecting my daughter from me. Work continued to be miserable. I'd been passed over for promotion twice, despite having more experience than the people who got the positions. Janet made it clear that my personal choices had professional consequences. Leadership requires trust, she said during my performance review. Colleagues need to believe make ethical decisions under pressure. Right now that's not reputation here. I was stuck, couldn't advance in my career, couldn't move to a different company without explaining gaps in my resume and poor references, couldn't escape the consequence of my choices anywhere I went. Dating was impossible, not that I wanted to. The few times Trimes tried to set me, the conversations inevitably turned to why I was single, and explaining that I cheated on the mother of my child while she was pregnant ended things quickly. Have a baby, one woman asked during coffee. Yes, a daughter, that's nice. Aren't her mother working things out? No, I made some mistakes, she's better off without me. The woman's expression changed immediately. She recognized the tone, the careful language of someone who'd done something unforgivable. I see. Well, it was nice meeting. She left money for a coffee and walked out. I sat there for another hour, staring at my phone wallpaper, a photo of Lily sleeping that Emma's sister had sent me, wondering if I was destined to be alone forever. Maybe I deserved to be. Lily's first birthday party was held at Emma's sister's house. I was invited technically, but it felt more like being allowed to observe from the margins. Emma had decorated with pink balloons and flowers, bought a beautiful cake, invited all our old mutual friends. Everyone who mattered in my former was there, celebrating my daughter while carefully avoiding meaningful conversation with me. I watched from across the room as Emma helped Lily out her single candle, as our friends took turns holding her and making her laugh. This should have been our party, in our house, celebrating our daughter together. Instead, I was the awkward guest at my own child's birthday, taking pictures from a distance like a stranger. Emma looked happy, genuinely happy for the first time since I'd seen her. She was laughing with her friends, glowing as people complimented what a wonderful mother she was, completely at peace in a room full of love that no longer included me. I realized she was better off without me. Not just better off, actively happier. My presence in her had become purely obligation, something to be managed rather than enjoyed. She'd built a beautiful for herself and Lily, and I was just a disruption they had to accommodate every other weekend. She's doing great, my friend Ryan said, approaching me carefully. We'd been trying to rebuild our friendship, but it was different now, stilted. Emma's really found her rhythm with motherhood. She's always been amazing. I replied, watching Emma help Lily play with her new toys. I could have been part and man. Chose not to be. Ryan wasn't being cruel. He was stating facts. Every choice I'd made for 2 months had been a choice to prioritize my selfish desires over building it with Emma. I'd chosen Sarah's attention over Emma's trust, chosen temporary excitement over permanent happiness. Chosen to be the kind of man who destroys his family instead of protecting it. The party wound down and I helped clean in silence. Emma thanked me politely for the stuffed elephant I'd brought Lily, the same way she'd thank any acquaintance for a small kindness. As I was leaving, Emma's mom walked me to the door. She's thinking about moving, she said quietly. There's a job opportunity in Portland. Better pay, closer to her college roommate who has kids Lily's age. My stomach dropped. She can't take Lily away from me. She's not taking Lily away from Mike. We're never really here to begin with. The words hit like a physical because they were true. I'd been showing for scheduled visits, following court orders, playing the role of father without ever earning the right to that title. Emma wasn't taking Lily away from me, she was moving on with her, and I happened to be a complication they'd work around. I need to think about what's best for my granddaughter. Emma's mom continued. Not what's fair to. Emma's building a good for herself and Lily. If that is better in Portland, then I support her choice. 3 months later they were gone. I got a new address for sending child support, a new schedule for video calls, and the crushing realization that my daughter would grow furs 200 miles away from me, because her mother needed distance from the wreckage I'd created. The last time I saw Emma in person was at the airport. She was carrying Lily, surrounded by suitcases and the tangible proof that she was starting over somewhere I couldn't follow. I'll make sure she knows love her, Emma said, and it was the kindest thing she'd said to me in 2 years. I'm sorry. I replied for the 1,000th time. For everything. I'm so sorry, Emma. She looked at me for a long moment and for just a second, I saw a flicker of the woman who used to love me. I know R. But sorry doesn't fix anything. Sorry doesn't give Lily the intact family she deserves. Sorry doesn't give me back the ability to trust someone completely. She paused, shifting Lily to her other hip. I hope find whatever it was we're looking for win us away. I really do. Because it cost both of us everything. That was 8 months ago. Now I video call my 2-year-old daughter twice a week, watching her grow through a screen. She calls me Mike sometimes instead of Daddy, because she doesn't see me enough to remember. Emma's dating someone new. A teacher who coaches Little League and volunteers at the animal shelter. Someone who probably deserves her in ways I never did. I'm still alone in my studio apartment, paying child support and therapy bills, working a job that leads nowhere, surrounded by reminders of the I chose to destroy. My friends have moved on. Ryan got engaged last month. My sister had another baby. My parents are grandparents to children they see regularly, and to Lily, who they know only through pictures and video calls. I keep Emma's Instagram bookmarked even though I shouldn't. She posts photos of Lily at the park, at birthday parties, learning to swim, making friends. She looks happy and healthy and loved by people who aren't me. Sometimes I imagine what'd be like if I could go back to that first text from Sarah and delete it instead of responding. Emma and I would be married now. Living in the house we'd planned to buy, maybe pregnant with baby number 2. I'd come home from work to Lily run in to hug me, to Emma asking about my day while she cooked dinner. But I can't go back, I can only live with the knowledge that I had everything. Love, family, purpose, a future worth building. And I traded it all for nothing. I see couples everywhere now. At the grocery store, at the gym, at coffee shop. Happy people who trust each other, who build lives together instead of tearing them apart. People who choose each other every day instead of choosing to betray everything they claim to value. People who are everything I could have been if I'd been strong enough to be worthy of what I had. Last week, Emma sent me a video of Lily saying I love for the first time. Clear as a bell, looking right at the camera with Emma's smile and my stubborn chin. I watched it 50 times crying in my empty apartment, knowing my daughter was learning to say those words to everyone in her, except the father who destroyed her family before she was old enough to remember what we could have been. The truth is, I didn't lose Emma to another man or bad timing or incompatibility. I lost her to, and that's a loss never recover from because can never trust not to do it again.